Hey friends, welcome to the Leadership Collaborative. My name is Kayla. Welcome to this channel. I'm glad you're here. So today's topic we're going to be talking about is being a leader through tough times and a little bit about grief. So I haven't put out a video in the last couple weeks, and it's not because I don't care about this channel or that I don't care about being consistent, but I did want to share a little bit more about why and how I'm dealing with it. So as a leader, I believe that rest is really important, and it is really important to take care of yourself. And recently I've had some health issues. So if you follow me on Instagram, if you don't, check me out at Kayla Fahey-Ahrndt on Instagram. I shared some really tough stuff about what I'm going through right now. So I actually am still physically and mentally recovering from my second ectopic pregnancy. Super difficult to deal with. And some days I'm feeling really great and able to record videos like this and just like be myself. And some days I just feel like crying and I have no energy. Ugh, it's tough. But at the same time, there's so many, dichotomies or contradicting things that we have to hold space for in our lives. So it's like feel the feels and move forward, right? Be grateful and, be sad, so many different things. And I think it applies to leadership, and it applies to like this whole COVID situation that's going on right now, where as leaders, we have to hold space for that for ourselves and for our direct reports. And so I think it's important to talk about some of these themes that that are swirling right now as it relates to this difficult time that I'm going through with my family. So the first things first. So I needed to, be able to, get treatment for my ectopic pregnancy, take care of what I needed to do. So I needed to rest, and I needed to, like I said, feel the feels and not suppress any of those feelings. Same thing with COVID. I think it forced us as leaders to recognize that, our staff, us, we cannot push 120, 200% all of the time. I think it made us realize that we have to rest. We can't be plugged into work all the time. We can't be plowing through. And I think right now I'm in a season where it feels like we're plowing. And I'm just like, but I want to sleep. And so it's just, we have to create space to rest and feel the feels and hold space for that contradicting statement and move forward. So the first thing I did was, I did tell my boss about what I was going through. You might not be comfortable sharing all your personal things at work. I think that's fine. But I do think as a leader, it helps me understand you if you just let me know, hey, something even as generic, I'm going through a really tough time right now, and I'm going to need some space or some help so I can get better and move on. So I can feel the feels, like process what's happening to me and move on so I can come and be better. And so I talked to my boss, and I was able to just take a few days. It definitely wasn't long enough. There's definitely a lot of other things going on at the same time, like childcare with COVID and working with, in healthcare with COVID, all these things. But I am grateful that I have a few more days coming up with the Labor Day holiday. And if it's not enough time, I'll ask for it. So I did figure out okay, I have to take a couple days. So I think as leaders, we have to be really open and forward with our people and say hey, if you need some time, just take it and let me know what that time is and just be really understanding. I know that different workplaces have different policies for rest and time off. And I think we have to be mindful of those. But I think as leaders, we can have empathy and do the right thing. Looking at my notes here, the second thing that really helped me was to get clear on what's important right now. So as I'm grieving and dealing with these raw emotions, it's really hard to work some days. And I think it can be like that with COVID too. There's so many unknowns. Each day feels like pushing a tire truck up a mountain. If you guys listen to Keisha Fitzgerald's podcast, Empower Her podcast, she uses that analogy all the time. And I think that it's forced us, COVID, and my grief and just what I'm going through, to think about, like, what's really important right now and how do I move those things forward? So I've had a list, like, of several things that I needed to accomplish. And I started to feel guilty as I was going through my grief and dealing with my pregnancy, my ectopic pregnancy, that, oh my gosh, I'm not getting to some of the things I want to. And how do I navigate that? And I even had a responsibility to host like a system-wide huddle for a week. And it landed on like the worst week, right in the middle of everything I was going through. And so I missed one of the calls one of the days. And, it was related to other work stuff why I missed it. But my mindset wasn't in the right spot. And so in that moment, I realized I gotta surrender a little bit. There's also this dichotomy and sort of, creating space for both discipline and surrender. And I needed to ask for help. So what I did was I made the list of all the things that I wanted to get done. And then I went through with a pink, yellow, and green highlighter. So kind of like red, yellow, green, like a stoplight. And red were the things that like needed to get done immediately. Like if they didn't happen, like bad things, like it was pressing. Yellow were some of the things that they could wait. They weren't priority number one, but if they didn't happen soon, then they would be red. And then green was like, these are great. I would love to get them done, but there's plenty of time. And, I think sometimes when we look at our lists, we think, oh my gosh, all of this stuff has to happen right now. Or like, wouldn't it be nice if all of these projects made it across the line? And then we realize like, there's always red, yellow, and green. Like not all of these are urgent and important right now. So I did the little dots, and then I took care of some of the red things right away. And some of the ones I couldn't get to, I delegated. So I reached out to my community of other leaders and I said, here's like a couple things I need help with. I haven't had the bandwidth. They've been on my list for a while. I'm not even sure if I'm really the right person to tackle these. Otherwise, perhaps they would have gotten done sooner. Like, who is available to help? And right away, people just swoop in and say, oh my gosh, I've been working on this. Yeah, I can take this off your plate. Immediately, so much pressure lifted off my shoulders. I think it can be used in the same context with COVID that, we all have pressing and competing priorities. And it just reminds us we're all full day to day with our schedules and our lives. Just ask for help. You don't get rid of this idea that you have to be perfect or that anything less than perfectionism is failure. Not true. Actually, asking for help shows that you're self-aware and that you respect your boundaries. And, another example of this is with the boundary thing is I got a few emails asking me to join this committee or that. And I took a few thoughtful days to, consider. And I was like, this is the time that I say no, actually. This is when I say no, because I have no more capacity to give, because I need to take care of me. And so I just said, I don't have the energy at this time to give what I would want to give to do this, work in a great way that I'd be proud of. So the answer is no, but thank you. And it actually felt really good to say that. Yeah, after you find some time where you can rest, get clear on your goals, delegate, then you can take time to feel the feels. And you can do what matters right now. You can know what you've got to do later that can wait. And you can just spend time on yourself. Some of the self-care things I've been doing is when I was recovering and in actual physical pain, I actually rested. I laid in my bed and I watched TV. It's okay. And then I started to slowly get back into normal activities that I enjoyed, like working out. I haven't been able to work out in a month or so, and so slowly doing low impact things like barre have been really helpful, and starting to eat well again. I had certain diet I had to be on, and so now I can eat what I want. Showering every day, like these simple things that we need to do to take care of ourselves as humans, but also as leaders, especially during COVID. If you don't do self-maintenance or self-care, it's really easy to feel really, really ragged if you've got a ton going on. And then put another life thing on top of that. I know we all have these life things going on. So take care of yourself and recognize that your staff are probably going through similar stuff and have empathy. So if you sense that somebody is off, I would suggest just reaching out and saying, hey, how are you doing? I cannot tell you how many people reached out to me and said, hey, I haven't heard much from you. Are you okay? Just checking in. And it made me feel so good to know that there are people that care and that notice that I haven't been as present. And it just helped me kind of process what was going on because I was able to talk about it and I didn't have to bring it up. They brought it up. They were basically like, how are you? And then I was able to tell them and I was able to be honest. So as leaders, create space. Don't shy away from asking someone if they're okay, and really help the person delegate so they can find time to take rest. All right, guys, until next time, I hope you take care.